All right. Well, hello, our Facebook and LinkedIn audience. It is me, Bobby Hobbs, again here with Ascent Dealer Service, and I have John Fairchild with us, who is actually in a dealership right now. So if he gets interrupted here, I do apologize, but he's kind of working his schedule around to get on here with me. And I, first of all, just wanted to thank you for being a part of this event that we have going on, the Ascent Virtual Summit here over the next 2 days. And just wanted to have you tell us a little bit about yourself so our viewers can get to know you and what they might see in your session,
No, I appreciate it very much. And I've been associated with Adam Marburger with Ascent for quite a few years. And he is like my brother from another mother. I started in the retail car business at a ripe old age of 15. Back then I had hair, probably like you.
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
Two bald white guys here.
The one thing I love about the car business, Bobby, is there's a career path. Not even if you want it, if you're hanging there long enough, if you show up to work, you got a great attitude, you bust your humps every day, then you're going to get put into the next position. I promise you. And that's what happened to me. And I was hired in as the boy, just cleaning up the shop. And when I got my license, they moved me into a lube tech. And then I really didn't like being a lube tech. Thought I wanted to be a mechanic like my brothers. But when there was a opening in the parts department, I jumped on it, ended up staying there 10 years, became the parts manager by default. And then one day I was needed in the service drive. And my boss, he said, now you're a service advisor. And, the road doesn't always go straight up. Sometimes it goes sideways for a little bit. So I was a manager, and now I'm a service advisor. And then I became a manager again. Along that time, Bobby, I did about 19 years in retail, and I had a mentor at the end of it that was from a company called MSX. And MSX works with OEMs. Ford had put him in my dealership, and I really learned a lot from him. Long story short, and not directly from that dealership, but I went to work for that consulting company, and I stayed there about 6 years. And I've been on my own now for about 15 years, and that's what I do. I help dealers to maximize their current traffic. I'm a consultant, a coach, and a trainer.
Well, it's fun to have you on. I come from the retail side as well. Most of mine's variable. But I spent a good amount of time trying to learn fixed once I became a GM. And as a guy who started in variable and thought I knew everything about everything prior to get into that job, probably the hardest thing in the car dealership is the fixed side. But once you get to know it, it really becomes something that's enjoyable doing. So I'm glad that we were able to bring somebody like yourself that can bring your type of knowledge to this session that we have going on here. That's, like I said, not all focused on sales here. It's like to keep it open and have lots of different options for lots of different departments. So that's awesome.
Yeah. And, the session that I came up with is how to maximize your customers' acceptance of your presentations. And here's what I mean by that is, and if you are a front end guy, and I asked you this question, non-rehearsed, are service advisors salespeople?
Personally, yes. Yeah, I absolutely believe so.
Okay. And I'm not disagreeing that sales need to be made, Bobby, but if I have more of advising by need in mind, if I am really taking into account what that customer actually needs and giving them the best advice, whether or not I think they're going to take me up on it, then the sales will occur.
For sure.
Right. And so, I really truly believe that sales gets a bad name in fixed ops because it connotates that we're trying to take advantage of the customer and just sell them things that they may or may not need. And so my whole approach is really needs based. If I'm a service advisor, I got to know things about my customer. I've got to build rapport. I've got to make enough emotional deposits with that customer where they're going to accept they're way more likely to accept my recommendations. Let me ask you this, Bobby. Do you happen to know what the average age of a car on the road today is in America?
Absolutely no idea.
Okay.
Probably about 10 years old, if I had to guess.
Okay. And I Googled it. I Google it every day, it seems like, because I ask service advisors that same question. And it's actually gone to up to 12.6 years. And there's a host of different reasons why. But not that long ago, cars only lasted about 100,000 miles, right? But in fact, if I go out on this dealership I'm at today or the one next door, and I go out of the used car lot, there's bound to be several cars for sale that have got over 100,000 miles on them on their used car lot. And, the average miles on a car that I see in a shop day in and day out all across the country is closing in on 100,000 miles pretty darn consistently. And so no matter where you go, it is a fact that the age of the cars coming through my service drive is going up and up and up. And if I look at any OEMs, I'm in a Ford dealership today, and I happen to drive a Ford product. And if I look at any of the OEMs manufacturers recommended maintenance for these cars, they've gutted it. What they're trying to portray, Bobby, is low cost of ownership. So if I'm shopping, I'm at a Ford dealership right now. Next door, it's the same dealer owns a Chevy store. So if I'm going to buy a Silverado, and I might be comparing it against my F-150 for what they call cost of ownership. And that's basically the fuel, the tires, the maintenance over the warranty period. Now, Bobby, do you think Ford Motor Company or any other OEM cares that what happens to your car, or that you keep owning that car after the warranty period is out?
No,
they don't. I've got a 2020 F-150. It's got 80,000 miles on it. And I looked at when the transmission service was due, and it said 150,000 miles. Does Ford Motor Company care if my transmission fails at 150K?
No.
They might even prefer it.
Yeah, right.
Let's keep in mind, these OEMs are in one business. They're in the business of making parts.
Yep.
Okay, now they assemble them into a car, but they're either going to want to sell me a new truck, sell me a new transmission, or sell me the components to fix my transmission. They're not interested in me getting into the 200 or 300,000 mile club. Okay.
Exactly.
But if I ask my customers, hey, Bobby, how long do you plan on keeping your car? And I take note of that. Now I've got a resonating point that I can make appropriate maintenance recommendations that are not going to be perceived as hard selling.
For sure.
That makes sense. So, I think the whole approach from a service advisor standpoint needs to really take into account, am I giving the right advice? And I think we get, I hear people all day, every day say, oh, that's not in my owner's manual. That's not recommended. Well, again, your manufacturer doesn't want you to drive that car forever. And, these services, that's what they'll do. Additional services beyond your factory schedule invariably will make your car last longer. But if I don't know that from my customer, if I'm just spouting off, hey, by time and mileage, you need X, Y, and Z, now it really feels like I'm just trying to sell them something because I don't know if they need it or not.
Yeah,
maybe if I'm going to sell this car next week, maybe I'm leasing the car. And of course, there are ways to make that an advantage also. But yeah, I just think, Bobby, that we got to get into a point as service advisors that we've got the best chance of our customers accepting our recommendations. So this session I'm going to be doing, how long is it?
About 45 minutes.
About 45 minutes. We'll really go into what those things specifically are. And I'm looking forward to it. I hope you attend. If you're watching this now, bring a notepad. I'm not going to dump a bunch of stuff on you that you can't possibly use, but I'm going to challenge you to take some of these nuggets that I'm going to give you and turn them into cash, because that's exactly what they do. And they will turn your customers into having a much more likely to have a great experience in your dealership.
Well, awesome. Well, John is going to be on day 2 of our session here. He's let me look it up here real quick. I think I know, but I want to just double check. Yep, he is going to be at 12:30 on day 2. Is going to be
18th, right?
Yep, which is the 18th. Going to be coming up here Wednesday. So if you are interested in seeing John, please sign up. The link is in the comments. John and all of our different presenters will be there. As long as you sign up, while you do have the ability to watch it live, and we of course want to have everybody on there live if we can. But if you sign up for it, you're going to get a link to watch this on demand once the event is completed. So even if you miss out on one of the sessions that you want to, like I've actually had some people texting me already that there's a couple that they aren't sure they're going to be able to make it. Don't worry about it, because we're going to give you access to that as long as you sign up. Just need your name and email address and it'll get sent to you. And that's all in the comments down below. So I look forward to having you and all of the presenters. I want to thank AGWS for sponsoring this event and making it possible for us, because without them, we wouldn't have been able to put this on. So here's to hoping that this event is as successful as I hope it's going to be, and we can do many more of these in the future. Thank you for taking a couple minutes with me here, John, and I look forward to having you and the rest of our presenters here over the next couple of days. Look forward to talking to you tomorrow and the next day.
Thank you.
Bye.